I gotta ask you about your Ed Sheeran's "A Dick" song, because obviously
Yes.
that's the main. That's the what in God's name made you like?
So my girl was like just loves Ed Sheeran.
Dystopia tonight. Dystopia tonight.
Hey,
What's up, guys?
how are you, man?
Yo, we need to get you both on the Family Feud. Like, I need you both in there answering questions with me.
Oh,
I
let's do it, dude.
Down. I am
Absolutely.
down.
I think that would be a nice segue after this podcast if we just all started playing Family Feud together. I think that
Dude,
would
I
be...
got the
I'm up for it.
giant, like the giant buzzers with the actual Family Feud light up thing. Like,
Oh my God, I need that in the live. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's make it happen.
That's
Where are
great.
you based out of? Are you back East Coast?
Yeah, so I live in Connecticut. I've
Nice.
been here all my life, and I haven't really wanted to leave yet. There's something about being in Connecticut that is very relaxing, just
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's so close to being like in New York City that I've gone back and forth into New York City so much that after spending 5 hours in New York City, I'm like, I need to get the fuck back to Connecticut
Yeah.
and like see some grass and see some trees and things like that,
I'm right there with you, dude. When there's something like oddly comforting about, like, when I was a kid, I wanted to live in the city more than anything because you don't know shit about shit. So you're like, oh my God, it's so cool to live in like Manhattan, and it is. You love, I lived in Brooklyn for a long time. I was born in Brooklyn or whatever, but like, Manhattan is just like, it's just cool to say it. And then as I got older, I was like, I need to be able to have my car. I need to be able to drive somewhere. I need to fucking, park at a grocery store. I need a parking lot kind of situation. I don't want to deal with everybody in New York has this schedule that they're permanently on where they're like, I can hang out, but I got to leave by this time because it's the last train. And it's like, fuck that, dude. Like, I don't want to.
No, like I just want to get in my car and go. And like,
Yeah.
And so like my older brother is a New York City fireman, so he lives there all the time, and he's there, and I'm like, I don't know how, like, I just don't know how you do it.
Right.
Like, I think it's just my like anxiety that I have, like, just being around a lot of people all the time. It's like I just need that space to be alone, and like I think sometimes it's better to be. It's creatively better to be in a space that's not so like super crazy busy,
I agree.
Too chaotic.
Yeah. Are you good collaboratively or no?
You mean like working like with other people?
Yeah. Do you prefer like creating on your own? Like, how are you at mixing the two?
Well, so with like my YouTube stuff and TikTok, it's like that stuff I do all alone. Like I've built that for 6 years, like in the basement, like literally where I am right now, just making YouTube covers of other songs, making funny things like onto TikTok, and I've just literally done it all from this couch that I'm literally sitting on right now.
Great couch.
But thank you. This couch is from 1973. There's
holy shit.
Yeah,
wow,
there's a lot of this couch has a lot of stories to it that I don't know.
I feel like a couch from 73 at this point is screaming just like slightly. Like it's just
there's like stains on it. There's a lot of shit on this couch, but it but it has history to it. It's like from my dad's apartment, and like I don't know. Yeah.
It's great.
But working with other people, I mean, like I think I've gotten to a point in my career where I feel like I need that. Like I'm just tired of working alone, honestly. So I think I do like working with other people, definitely.
Do you think that's just come with the experience of doing it, or just maybe like as you're getting older, you're like, oh, you know what, I kind of have more to share with somebody else, and I liked, because I think when you're younger, initially, like especially like when I started out doing stand-up or whatever, stand-up is still a very solitary thing, and I do like that kind of thing. But it's kind of funny when I see bands and I talk to more people who have like somebody to fall back on, or like even being in writers' rooms and stuff like that. I really do like having people to bounce ideas off of and kind of share the experience with, and also any failure. Where I'm like, this is, what did we do here? It sucks. And instead of it just being on you, you know?
Yeah, no, you're right. And I think too, like, one of the things that I feel like has got me into that place is just working alone and staring at my screen for 6 years straight. And like,
right.
And then there's a flip side to it, right? It's like I've been in bands and I've done like the band thing and I've been with other people, and it's like maybe this is just a me thing, but I want to work with people that have like the same kind of passion that I do around it. And so when I feel like someone is not as into it as I do, it's like I don't want to feel like I have to drag other people to like be in something that they don't want to be in. Like, especially doing music, it's like you have to be all in or you're not, you know. Same thing like with comedy. Like I'm sure like those two industries really go hand in hand together, you know?
Yeah. The compatibility between the two is actually oddly, like, I've always felt like there was a shared experience, especially when I've opened for a couple bands like in the beginning. And that's kind of fun. It's not so much anymore. Where like back in the day, like if you had the same agency as like another band, they would just send a comedian out with them to do like 20 or like even like 10 or 15 or whatever. So that doesn't happen too much. But just from being in the same venue as like a band was before, I did like the shared experience of going like, okay, we both had this stage, had that kind of crowd, like, you know, or whatever. And then, but now talking to other musicians and stuff like that, like, I just find the level of sameness and insecurity, or maybe like, you know, performance issues or questions and stuff like that when you're going through your mind before you go to a show is very, very similar.
Yeah. Like, I think having and just like having to be able to express different ideas with other people, because you might see something from a certain perspective that someone else might see it from like a whole different perspective, and then it might make the song everything that you want it to be. Yeah. But yeah, that's why I have a therapist, because I can just bounce ideas off him, and I can just come back to my house and do it by myself. I don't need anybody. Just be my therapist. Yeah.
I just like the idea of somebody reading one of your albums and they're looking at the credits and there's like a doctor listed and they're like, oh, is it? Are we looking this guy up or?
Thank you, Dr. Brown, for all your support. Really appreciate it. You made this record happen. Thank you.
He's gonna be looking for parts of that ass cap.
He's the only PhD in his building to retire early because this is the residuals of getting an album money.
He's like the only doctor that has
anymore. Yeah, it's fucking great.
Has like a gold record in his office next to like his surgery table. Yeah.
He's listed as one of the writers. Like, holy shit!
Great if you walk in and then you see his like degree, record plaque.
It's like, who is this guy?
Right? Yeah. Like, oh my god, I'm going to a legit. Can you hum a little bar or something like that? No, I can't. I don't do that here. That's awesome though. I never thought about giving it any therapy. I've been to therapy. I've gone to therapy. I should probably still be, but I have not gone back or whatever. You know, I'm one of those people who'll be like, oh, I need it today. And then that's just not how it works, because you actually have to schedule an appointment. Like for a while, I would be one of those idiots that would legitimately be like, I would like text my therapist like, hey, you free? And he's like, I'm a doctor. Like, no, I'm not free. And I'm like, okay. Well,
it's
you know, just hit me up when you're.
We just need to have like a quick text. No, but like that's the problem, right? Like that's the thing about going to therapy, is that like you have to make the effort to want to do that. And like I was in therapy for probably 2 years, and then I stopped for about a year. And literally right before I got on this call with you guys, I scheduled a brand new appointment with a new therapist.
Nice.
Because I felt like I was, you know, just some of the stuff that we were talking about right before we got on here was like, it's like, oh, I feel good today, so I don't need a therapist. And then like the next day, I feel like shit, maybe I do. But then it's like when you have more consistently bad days than I feel like days that are good, then it's like, and I just got to a point where I was like, okay, I need someone to talk to that's not my mother, and that would just somebody from the outside. Like, I think it's just very healthy. But
it is.
Yeah,
you sure?
We should all be in therapy. We all need that third party dude to come in objectively and kind of look at your life. I mean, obviously that would be the ultimate convenience to really, if everybody could afford a decent therapist to kind of like bounce shit off of. But then you do have like, you know, like anything else, you have people that are really good at it, people that are okay with it. I had a friend who was going to see a therapist, and they literally did have a texting relationship where I was like, that's no longer your therapist. Because like they were, you know, talking about her relationship issues, but as two girlfriends too. She'd be like, I just texted Karen, my therapist. She wanted to see how we were doing together. I'm like, no. Like not her and I, but like her and her current boyfriend. I'm like, ooh, that's not any good there.
See, so, you don't think so? I think that would be great.
No, I think it is. So this
you
is
think it's good or bad?
Well, I had a problem with my last therapist where I don't want to say his name, but it got a little too personal.
Burn that bridge. No, I'm just kidding. No, I hear you.
No, where like, you know, you sit like in these sessions and like you build like a relationship, and like especially if you're around the same age. Like this guy was like in his late 30s, and so we kind of vibed that way. But then it got to a point where it was like most of the therapy sessions were like us like just vibing. And like, I wasn't really having to talk about anything that I wanted to talk about. And like, I was paying money for it. So I'm like, like, am I just paying you to be my friend, or like, what's going on? You know,
this reminds me of the Seinfeld where he had a maid and they start dating, and then they're begging and he's paying her and she's not cleaning anymore.
Yeah.
And like,
and he's looking around his apartment. He's like, what did I just pay for? Like what?
Yeah.
But I had the same. So I, you know, through the pandemic, nobody was going to anybody's offices. We're all doing shit on the phone. At one point I was talking to a therapist and it was over the phone. And I swear to God, I stopped and I was like, are you fucking cleaning right now? Like what? Like, cause you could hear like bang, bang, clink, clink, clink. Yeah. So you're feeling
like, hold on, I'll be right there. Yep.
Yeah. All of a sudden I'm like, anyway, I think I might kill myself. And he's here, you know, he's like chopping down a tree in his backyard. I'm like, are you doing lawn care? What is happening right now?
Like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Hold on, let me just vacuum up this cat shit really quick. We can get back into it. Yeah.
He's like, I cannot get this one paper clip on the floor, dude. You ever get like a it will not pick up. Like tying a noose around my neck while we're on the phone.
I was thinking the same. Yeah, you're like, he's like, yeah, hold on 1 second. Oh, nope, like didn't tie it right. Like what?
I'm asking him questions about knots. I'm like, have you ever been in the Boy Scouts? Is it like a sheep shank or a, you know,
is it like a Windsor knot or like what's going on? Yeah.
Exactly. I'm using my dad's ties. Is that okay? Do you think that'll be?
No, but like this is. This is important because like I take mental health very, very seriously, but then at the same time it's like you need to be able to have the kind of, you have to be able to laugh at yourself, because I feel like if you don't laugh about it, then you're gonna cry.
Agreed.
It's like this,
and crying is fine. 3 males in the room right now. It's good to have feelings and express. I agree with you though, and it is good to do that kind of shit, because I think we're all caught in this mental health loop where now it's like, it's great that everyone's talking about it. I really do love the fact that everybody's kind of acknowledging their mental health. I think the cautionary thing is, like anything else in this world or country or whatever, is when capitalism kind of gets involved and you're like, okay, now how much of this mental health discussion is done now for performative issues or profit? You know what I mean? Like, because now it's like everybody's talking about it, and that's great. And then you also kind of have to be careful about how people are talking about it, and if they're using it to just monetize their own, you know, like it's not that like, okay, so monetizing an issue would be like if you like, I did a short film on mental health, and you know, it's called Dup It and everything, but
it's a lot of fun. Definitely check it out. It's all about depression with a puppet.
Yeah. Totally. Basically, the main character, his depression manifests itself into a puppet that looks like him, and only he can see it. But it's like very like all the negative thought stuff. I don't even mean it monetizing like that. I just mean like when you see it in the media and stuff, and then people are using it in a way that's kind of like not a real conversation anymore, but it's just like, you know, they wear it like a shirt or a brand. Like, oh, my mental health is my brand. And it's like, oof, that I find like, it should be something you can laugh about, to kind of overcome with, to say it's okay to deal with it, but not something that people are just using to plow through life with. You know what I mean? Does that make sense to you? I don't even know if.
Yeah. And like, I think I've seen, so like, first of all, I I think that the puppet thing is so cool, and I think that's like very therapeutic in a way to like, oh, here's like this puppet that's like super depressed and like this is how I feel or whatever. But then on the other hand of it, it's like I've seen a lot of people use mental health for like, or use that they're dark or that they're this for like cloudy reasons, you know what I mean? Like to just think it's cool. And it's like, if you've ever been in a place where like you feel like you want to kill yourself, like if you've actually been to that place, you like just don't do that shit. Like it's like a real thing, I think, for a lot of people. And I don't know if we've gotten to a point, like not even as like a country, but like I don't know if we've gotten to a point where people take it as seriously as I think that they need to. I don't know.
No, I know what you mean.
I think it's a tough one too, because like we don't want it to be stigmatized where you don't talk about it, but we also don't want it to be taken to the point where it's almost like a trend, like eating Tide Pods, right?
That's,
so you don't
want.
Good point.
That was a trend that lasted for a while. That trend lasted for a minute.
Yeah. Right? Let's be honest. Some of those people needed to go. But there's that's a joke.
Whoa!
I know. Is it hot in here?
No. Listen. It's something that should, you know, because you think about all these people that did have serious mental health issues, like the guy from the Foo Fighters who just died.
Totally.
Taylor Hawkins.
Yeah, Taylor Hawkins. Yeah,
totally had a lot of issues that he wasn't able to work out, and like people use all of like these different kinds of substances, I feel like, just to feel a sense of peace. Like it's not because they're bad people, it's because they like are fighting a battle in their head that they don't know how to express. And like sometimes taking substances like allows you to get some relief from that. But at the same time, it's like, and then it's so hard to see like a doctor, like all like these psychiatrists, like you can't see till like months and months in advance, and it's like, what's the point? It's like there's just not enough. But then on the other hand, it's like it's like I try not to take myself too seriously, and I try to like, I think mental health is important, but I don't think it should be the focal point of your brand or of your life, or like trying to make money off it. Like, I think just do what you feel. Yeah.
Part of that's very hard. And listen, I don't even begrudge anybody who is like adjusting to their mental health, and I really wish the message would mostly be like, you don't have to make it your character trait. You can acknowledge it, that is the thing that, because I don't think your mental health is necessarily what makes you you. I think it's a part of you, and that's a good thing to acknowledge, and then also, you know, deal with in a healthy way and try to overcome. But I think there's some people that the message is like, I'm not going to be able to escape this thing, so I better just wear it, you know, on my sleeve all the time, or like have it as like a brand type of thing. And I think that fucks with your head, because it's just, you know, you're already dealing with shit on its own, but like a depression or any kind of thing, if it's ADHD or whatever mental health is, it plays on a loop. So if you're telling yourself you can't even escape it, and then it becomes part of who you are and your industry and whatever the hell it is, you just never escape it. And it should be something that you're trying to go, I'm going to leave it over here and focus on my life and my work and all that other stuff. And to add to what you just said, the doctor thing is important too, because the substance abuse stuff, 9 times out of 10 comes from, I mean, not in Taylor Hawkins' case, he could obviously see a doctor. I don't know what he was dealing with personally, but I had a very close friend who was dealing with a lot of issues and, you know, passed away from a drug overdose, but had, you know, they've been able to get to probably the care that they needed. I remember calling somebody's therapist at a time. I think we had shared the same therapist at one point, and I had called and I was like, hey, I think they really need to address whatever. And they wouldn't talk to me. And they were like, well, they need to schedule an appointment. And I'm like, and I just want to know, like, that's why sometimes I'm like, I could never be a doctor, do that kind of shit. Because if somebody called, like, I understand you have to have that distance, but I don't know that I could. Because I'm like, hey, someone's really bad right now. Do you have 15 minutes, you know, to try to get a hold of whatever? And they were like, absolutely not. You have to schedule an appointment. I'm like, but if it's not for another 3 weeks, I don't know if they're going to be. And then they're like, oh, well,
exactly.
You know, and I had a friend go to a doctor and like casually tell them, like, they were having an okay day, lucid enough of a day to bring themselves to a doctor. And then when they did, explain to them, they were like, they said, like, are you having suicidal thoughts? And he was like, yes. And they took it as right now. And then she was like, I'll be right back, left the room. Then the cops showed up, and then they took him away in an ambulance to another facility because, and by the way, to somebody who's already dealing with shit, that is one of the most traumatic, like, he wasn't allowed to leave. He had to have his girlfriend come back and pick him up because they wouldn't let him leave because he had just said he was having suicidal thoughts. And it's like, we have to rethink how we handle somebody's, you know, like not scaring the fucking shit out of them. Because it's almost like they're not doing it to help them. They're doing it because he's a liability now.
Well, I think it boils down to, I think that boils down to, like, it's a protocol. Like, if somebody says they have a chance of killing themselves, they have to do everything in their power to take him into and make it themselves accountable for not allowing that to occur once he expresses it. So I agree that it definitely happened in the wrong fashion.
Sure.
But it's tough.
But also have an A, B, and C like question lineup because, like, are you having suicidal thoughts? And maybe follow it up with a right now. Do you feel like, instead of just being, because I mean, like, if somebody said to me, do you have suicidal thoughts? I'd be like, yup.
Most of the time.
Not, yeah. I mean, like, you know, it crosses my brain in the weirdest of times. Like, you know, sometimes I'll be in traffic and I'm like, you know what? If I just end it now.
You know, it's like, yeah, it's like if I just bared left, what would happen?
On the Verrazano.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but like, just to your point, it's like, and I don't want to make this like a dark conversation because I know that
we'll skip over
about it. But it's like I had a friend similar to you that had died over quarantine because he had like anxiety and he wasn't able to see a doctor. I don't know exactly, but he ended up buying something off the street that was laced with fentanyl and he died. Like,
yeah, man.
And like that's the kind of shit. And like all of these, and like a lot of these doctors, like, you know, think that you're just trying to get pills and like all this stuff. And it's, and it's like, it's just really messy. And I don't think we have it figured out yet. And I hope something happens soon. But, I do think it's good to, you know,
be open about it, and express yourself.
Just be open about it, and like if you're at a point where you can laugh about it and if you can joke about it, I think that's also very therapeutic. I mean, that's what we've been doing for the last 25 minutes, and I feel great.
Yeah. Like, and the other thing is I just like to stress this too because I see this all the time, especially like National Suicide Prevention Month and all this shit, where they're like, if you need help, make a call. I want to make this very clear to people: call your fucking friends. Like, if you know them to be slightly depressed, if you know them, if they haven't checked in a while, don't fucking tell people who are already like downward spiraling, convincing themselves that there's no time left to dial a number because they're not going to fucking do it. Just make sure you're reaching out to your friends. That's all. It doesn't, like a text, a phone call, a how you doing, you know, especially the ones, you know, dealing with shit. It doesn't take much time to do it. And I feel like
it means a lot.
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
Yeah. Like that's, yeah. 100%.
I mean, I'm sure the three of us have even been in a situation where we're like having a bad day and then one random person goes, you know, hey man, you want to grab food, or how you doing, or we haven't caught up in a while. It can change your whole fucking mood and bring 100%. You out of a thing like that.
I think I'm going to call you guys the next time I feel that.
Oh, you're welcome to, bro.
I'm doing it, man.
All right,
always open.
Cool.
I'm down.
Fun fact about me, I don't sleep. So I texted.
What time do you go to bed?
Last night I went to bed at 3:30 in the morning.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're on the same wave. It's just
perfect.
For some reason when I sleep, I feel defeated. Like,
me too.
There's so many things that I want to do, and there's so many thoughts that I'm having. It's like, if I'm sleeping, then I feel like I'm not able to do those things. But I think that's my mental illness that I need to figure out. Yeah.
Yeah. I need to be. Something needs to exhaust me to the point where I feel like my body needs to put itself to sleep. If I could still function and keep going, I will convince myself I could get a few more things done, or I should be doing whatever. And it's like, do you know the Arcade Fire song, Rebellion?
I know Arcade Fire. I don't know if I know that song.
So the song's great. It's not technically about so the lyrics are basically being like asleep as far as like informationally about what the world's going on, but the lines are just great because in the beginning it's basically like sleeping is giving in, so lift those heavy eyelids. People say that you die faster than without water. All in all, it's just a lie. So like, but it's that kind of shit. I think about that all the time because that's what I think. I think sleeping is giving in.
Yeah, it's like a weird thing to think about, but then I'm like, there's gonna be another day. Like I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and like, you know, it's.
Aren't you optimistic?
You're right every time but one.
Look at the upswing.
God willing, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow. Right?
Look at this fucking guy over here. Holy shit, he thinks he's no. That's good though.
Oh my god, guys, like this is fun. I feel like I haven't had this much fun like in an interview in a very long time.
That means a lot, man.
man.
Yeah, it's fun.
Speaking of fun, I gotta ask you about your Ed Sheeran's "A Dick" song because obviously that's the main. That's the what in God's name made you like? Because
I was gonna ask, was this a real scenario? Because did your ex or whatever it was actually hear this song?
So my let me think about how to start
to word it.
So
I can tell you're like working it. You're like, all right, everybody.
I'm like, who do I want to throw under the bus in this interview? I'm like, let me think about it for a sec. So my girl was like loves Ed Sheeran, and it's almost to the point where it's annoying. You know what I mean? And like, you know, when you get in the car and like you put in your phone and like it starts to play the songs that are like in alphabetical order. Yeah. So like it would always play the A-Team like first. Every time I get in the car.
I can't believe you just fucking said that because I thought I was alone. I have the A-Team on my phone too. That thing. Why? Why do we have that? It's a great theme.
I'm about to take it off though because literally it's the first song that always plays every time we get in the car, and every time we get in the car, she wants to keep listening to it.
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay, but then it's like
1973, a crack commando. But that's what comes on. And I'm just like, all of a sudden, I'm like speeding, and no one knows why. They're like, "Are you all right?" No, I'm not.
It's like, and me being an artist, it's like I'm working on music all the time, and it's like, hey, do you want to hear something I'm working on? No. Oh. Hey, do you want to hear this thing? Oh yeah, sure. But then let's go back to the to Ed or whatever, blah blah blah, and. It just got to a point where I was like, this guy's a dick. But like he's not a dick because he's a dick because he's super talented, right? So this song is like a diss track, but at the end of the day, it's sort of like a love song hidden behind a diss track. Because you know, like Ed Sheeran's a dick. He wrote a new love song, My Girl Love, she calling it quit. But it's in my head like la la la, like his songs are still in my head. And they're good. But I collaborated on this song with a guy named Crash who writes a lot. He has a TikTok song right now that's going. It's called Big Mad by this girl Caitlin. He did a lot of stuff with like Snoop Dogg and Ice Cube and
shit.
Just like a really good songwriter. And so I kind of explained these inner feelings that I was having about Ed Sheeran and about my relationship. And
it's so great, man.
And he brought it, and he just started saying, he was like, Ed Sheeran's a dick. And I was like, okay. And then I recorded the song. He finished it. We finished it. I recorded it. And then I started posting it online. I got a lot of hate, like a ton of hate about it from all like the Ed Sheeran fans and everything like that. But it was a risk I was willing to take because I felt like I was at the point in my career where it was like I was doing the sad love songs for like a long time, and I was doing songs about like my mental health, and like those were really working. But I had never had a song that was like something like this or something that was like a little bit sort of like more gimmicky.
It's so fun and so catchy. It really is.
Thank
like
you.
It's like it just gets caught in you. So I can see like it's just about exposure, right? Like I feel like the more people hear it, the more it's like a sing along catchy song.
Right.
Yeah,
But
and
what's
like
cool
that's
about it is it's not just exposure. If I can chime, like that's the cool thing. There's talent backing it. The lyrics are super fun. Like there's,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Like it would be one thing if somebody just saw it and they'd be like, oh man, it's just a gimmick. But like it's beautifully written, so much fun. Like it's not just about the exposure. Like glad you're getting
thank you
exposure
so
for it,
much, man.
but at least there's
Thank you.
substance there. You know what I mean? It comes from a place.
Yeah, like that's what I wanted people to do, because when I post like the 15-second clips that are onto TikTok, you really only see the part of me calling Ed Sheeran a dick. Like you don't hear the rest of the song. So like people are like, oh, like what the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
Who's this guy think he is? Like, so like half of the people do that, and then there's half of the people that are like, I'm an Ed Sheeran fan, but like this song is a bop, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like. And at the same time, I don't give a fuck. Like I don't care. like I and I don't know if you guys are able to relate to this, but it's like I think you get to a point in your career where it's like you really care, but at the same time you don't care. Like obviously, like you want the songs to do well, and like you want like your material to do well, like you want it to go over well. But like at the same time, it's like I just don't want to be afraid to try different things anymore. And if it works, cool. And if it doesn't, cool. Move on to the next thing. You know, that's kind of my mindset with that.
I feel you. I mean, there's a certain, I think, especially when you're starting out, there's a bit of a preciousness to what we put out because we're like, okay, I don't want to be judged. I don't want to look like this. I don't want to look like that or whatever. And then you kind of, you know what's weird? It's like when you're super young, there's no restriction to fail. Like you're just writing shit, throwing shit against the wall, playing around with stuff. Then when you start to actually get into your career of it, I feel like some of us pull back in the very beginning of that where we're like, okay, I got to figure out, just do the right thing. And we don't realize that we're limiting ourselves kind of creatively, like almost putting yourself in a box. And then the point where you're at now, I feel the same way to a certain extent, where you're just like, okay, you know what? Fuck it. Whatever sticks. I'm just going to have fun. I'm going to be, as creative as I possibly can. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We're moving on to the next shit.
Which takes a lot of guts. Like you need to have the spirit of being like, okay, I'm gonna put this out there. I believe in it. Yeah. And then if it goes bad, it's an ego thing. So it plays back and forth where you're like, all right, am I able to take this and be like, all right, they didn't get it, I got it. Somebody might. I think some of the best things in the world that become cult classics, a lot of people will be like, I don't get it, and then it finds its groove with the people that really like.
That's what, and this song has really only been out for like 30 days. Like, it's still fresh, So, and like I've had songs, and I've known a lot of people that have songs that like take a year to actually hit. Like, so it's no, but then at the same time, it's like I got to a point where like I used to romanticize all my like myself and like the songs that I put out and how I looked online and how everyone would see me online. Like it had to be perfect, and like that just became not fun. Like it became like very depressing to always have to think about yourself in that light. Like how are people seeing you? And like growing from 0 to 3 million followers in like 3 years, like having to get it like 1 million followers a year, you're like, how do I maintain this? Like your mind starts going crazy once you start getting all these people. And it's like I just think it's so much easier and so much more fun if to just be yourself and to not think about those things and to just post what you want to post and do what you want to do. And that's why this song was like, fuck it, let's just do it. Ed Sheeran's a dick. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. But the story remains true. And I'm still angry, but it's okay. It's okay.
I love that. It's a hard balance to maintain too, because you have to always keep in mind, and this is what I learned doing stand-up, is you just don't fall in love with your audience. As long as, and then it helps you keep, Tom's got a good, I don't not love the audience, but I really try to keep them out of whatever I'm doing as much as possible. And I think Tom balances it out with, he is very good at going, and bringing them in and stuff like that, because I'm centered on, I want to make this thing, because you never know. The other thing is too, is I don't know if you find this with your work as well, the things you don't think are going to hit, people love. And they're like, or, you're like, I don't know what this is, I'm going to throw it out there. Like, and I'll do that with stand-up stuff. Like, I always have to try to put out reels, and I'll put out clips in my stuff. And sometimes you're just like, I don't know if I have anything today. I'm just gonna cut this. I'm not thrilled with it. Let me just toss it out there and see whatever. And that happened to me recently. It fucking exploded. And I'm just like, I hate this bit. but for whatever, and sometimes I'm cutting something and I'm like, this is genius. You know what I mean? I'm like, everyone's gonna love this, and people are like, you know what I mean? So yeah,
Dude,
or they don't.
Tell
They don't
me
like
about it. Tell me about it.
You know,
like the shit that I've spent the most, that I've put the most effort in, and like it just has not gone the way that I wanted to. But the shit where I'm like, I don't really give a fuck about this, goes viral than I've ever seen before. And I'm like, I really think that's just the nature of the universe. It's like when you don't attach yourself to it so much, like I think you just get more life out of it. And like that's why I was saying before, like just not over romanticizing things, and like that, like I wake up every day and I stress about what the fuck I'm gonna post onto TikTok like every day. Like that's just my life. And the more that I had stopped doing that and just did what I wanted to, like all my most viral things are things that I was making when I wasn't thinking. Like I wasn't even thinking about that. Like I was just doing what I do. And those are the things that work. But as you grow and as you get more into that thing, like it becomes harder because you're like, oh, I need to make something that was just as good as that, or I have to make something better. And you're always in like this constant fight with yourself when it's like, just relax,
Right. Well, even like, I mean, guys like Springsteen or whatever, when they have a huge album, have the same kind of issue where I remember reading an interview with him and talking about having a moment where he was like, how the fuck am I going to top that? And then him also at the same time realizing like, oh yeah, like I'm an artist, like I'm a creative, I'm gonna do whatever. And it's the same kind of feeling where I understand it, where you're like, when you write an hour or you write a great joke or whatever the hell it is, if you just fix it, like that's why I try to leave whatever you create behind. If you make a thing, it's hard to do. It's hard to leave it behind, but you got to go on to the next fucking thing. Because if you glue yourself to that, it'll be the only thing you ever fucking do.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, man, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
I want to know like how when it first started popping, like when it first started hitting, like what was your reaction to it? Like did you go into it with an intent, or did you like start it and then it just started popping?
No. So before I started doing TikTok, it was actually called Musically.
Oh my God, I remember that.
Yeah, and then it got bought by them and they changed the name and everything. But I was making YouTube videos since like 2009. But like not on like a regular basis. From 2016 to 2020, I was like making videos like consistently. I had like an upload schedule, and I was probably doing that for like 2 or 3 years, with like not really gaining a lot of traction, like sort of not really getting a lot of traction. And then I did a cover of the Halsey song called "Without Me."
Right.
And I uploaded that onto my YouTube channel. It sat for like 3 months, no views, which is cool because, like you're saying before, I was just posting and then I would just keep going, or just post and then I would just keep going. And then I got a call from a site that was called Glamour Magazine, and they asked me if I wanted to do an interview about the cover that I did of the Halsey song. And I was like, oh yeah, cool. So I get on the call, and it was a call like this, and they're like, I want to show you something. And I'm like, okay. And they show me a video of Halsey watching the cover and of like her like reacting to it. So I was like, oh my God, like this is crazy. So that was when it kind of like started to snowball. And then after that happened, I get a random DM on Instagram from an account that was called TikTok. And I was like, this is just like another site that wants me to post my music, blah, blah, blah. Like I probably they sent me a message and I ignored it for like 3 days. I was like, I don't
Wow.
have to know what this is. And
Right.
then they just kept hitting me up, and I was like, all right, fine. Like I'll start to post my stuff onto TikTok. So like they had just became TikTok when I got that message, and they were actually looking for other artists to get on the app. Now there's over 1 billion users on the app, and I got on the app like when they were having to look for people. Like it's like just nuts. So then I posted the Halsey cover on that app one night. It was like 3 days before Christmas. I didn't really think anything of it.
Wow.
And it just exploded. Like over 3 million people have used this song in like their videos, and that was like the start of my career onto TikTok. And then
That's
from
awesome.
there, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Then did you feel a pressure to to keep that up? Like once it goes, are you like, I need to do this again? Like, did that start weighing on you or no?
Well, so the thing was that I had been doing YouTube videos for a long time. So I already had like a lot of content that I hadn't posted onto TikTok. So I like would just rip YouTube videos off my YouTube, and like I would upload that onto TikTok, and those would get views that they weren't getting views on YouTube, but they were getting views onto TikTok. So I had all this old content that I, was able to post. Yeah. So like I probably did that for like 6 months. But no, like I wasn't really thinking about it as like I wasn't thinking about, oh, like I have to have like a viral hit again, only because that song was viral for so long. So like I sort of like rode the wave of it for like 6 months to like a year. So like I wasn't thinking, oh, I have to have like another one. But after that one, like 2 years later, I did a cover of that song WAP. Song WAP. Like I did like a nice guy version of it that was like me singing about like wet ass pussy, but like I was like singing it like I was like a wedding singer or some shit, and that went viral, and like Charlie D'Amelio used it, Jason Derulo used it, just like all just like it's just crazy just who you can reach on the internet by just having ideas. But like that was like another risk. Like that was like another risk. It's like, am I gonna I didn't even want to post that because I thought it was just so vulgar and like this isn't me. Like I don't want to post this. And then I got a call from my sister because I asked my sister, I was like, should I post this? And she was like, yeah, do it. And it went crazy. So if I didn't listen to her, I don't know if that would have happened, but it's just all trial and error, like just trying different things and seeing what works.
So now this Ed Sheeran's a dick been out for 30 days. Let's right now play some bets. When does Ed Sheeran see it? And then repurpose it. So are we working on this?
So I've heard some I don't know about how much of this I feel like I can say, but I'm gonna say it as much as I can.
Don't worry,
before we release the song, Spotify actually reached out and said that they don't feel like they can promote the song because they have a good relationship with Ed. So that was like something that kind of hurt, and I think there were some people that were on Ed's team that so I'm signed to Warner, which is also what Ed is signed to. So Ed is signed to Atlantic, and which is like and that's like a branch off of Warner Brothers. And so like we were trying to see if there were any nibbles, if someone from Ed's team wanted to hear it, and there were like a couple people that we spoke to from Ed's team that were like, Ed would love this. Like Ed is like the sort of dude that would think that this is funny and this is cool. And then there were some other people on Ed's team that were like, no. So
we know who's getting fired from Ed's team.
So
basically saying your client doesn't have a sense of humor about himself. They're like, no, we can't.
So I think he's I don't know if he's heard the whole thing. I'm 95% sure he's heard about it. He's heard of it.
Nice.
But I think the only way that he will be able to hear it or even get on a remix, like that would be dope if he got on the remix of his own song calling him a dick. Like, and then and then in like the second verse, he came back at me and was like, "No, you're a dick," or like something like that.
You guys need to collaboratively do a thing where he does wind up with your girlfriend at some point.
Oh, so like
that was video.
Okay, so like that's basically what the music video is. Like so we shot a music video that's coming out. It's probably coming out next week.
That's so great. I didn't even know that. That's amazing.
Yeah. So like the whole point of the video is like I didn't use my actual girlfriend in the video. We used like an actress. And the whole point of the video is that she wants to go to an Ed Sheeran concert. And it's her birthday. And I forgot to get her the Ed Sheeran tickets.
Oh.
And she's so upset. So like the whole video is me like running, trying to find the tickets, but it's like sold out. I have to go to like a back alley and get like the tickets from like this weird guy and like make her happy. But no, I mean, I think that the only way Ed would ever get on it or see it is if it went like crazy viral. And I think there's still time to try to do that. But if he does or doesn't, I had fun with the song, and I think a lot of people like it too. So
that's the best attitude to have, though, about it, man. You made something super creative. It was fun for you. A lot of people liked it, and then move on to the next thing.
Exactly.
I think it's gonna pop. I do. My prediction is yes, because when you listen to it, it's so catchy. So like, there's a couple other like joints in like that genre that I found myself that you're like, oh, when you hear something on the radio, like genius, like that's totally I can see me doing that.
Well, like,
how often does something make you laugh and it's catchy and you're like, oh, I can relate to this on a bunch of different levels too? Because like, we've all been dating somebody. Same thing for comedians, man. You'll be when I started doing stand up and I was dating somebody and they'd be like, you know who's hilarious? And I'd be like, it better fucking be me.
I swear you better be talking about me.
Yeah. But they're like, and it was just, hilarious.
Yeah, I feel like it was right in like the zone of like the early Eminem, like Little Dicky, like all of those type of joints where they'd say, is playful and fun. It wasn't a negative thing. I think the title might strike people as like, oh, I'm an Ed Sheeran fan. But then when you listen to it, it's a totally different animal.
Title's a great hook though, because if they're an Ed Sheeran fan, they're gonna spite listen to it, and then they're gonna be like, oh, this is fucking sick as shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you see a song that's on Spotify or that's on Apple Music that's called Ed Sheeran's a Dick, you're not gonna not want to listen to it. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's like getting Randy Jackson's autograph.
Yeah. I mean, you're not gonna not want Randy Jackson's autograph. I mean, anywhere. Yeah. I mean, it's just. But like, this is the thing. This song is hard to market, and this is why, because I've posted a lot of videos about it, and a lot of them have gotten removed for harassment and bullying.
Oh,
so
no, it's crazy.
It's just a funny. It's just like a gray area of like having to market without actually insulting the man.
Right.
Which is actually even better that you need to start getting PR agents to write Ed Sheeran's feeling bullied. And then putting that out there.
Half of Ed Sheeran's staff feel he can't take a joke. That's the headline.
Cyber bully Alec Chambers.
Seriously, that's what I feel like. I feel like a bully. Like it's but then you listen to the song and you realize that I'm in love with him. Like, that's basically what it's about.
Maybe at the end of the music video, you two get together.
We get together, we kiss, and it's fun. Yeah.
And then beautiful.
Oh, you will rock the woke world.
Yeah. Oh my God. You rub magic beards together and shit, and then you're like, that'd be great.
He needs to get on the song. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but I'm just gonna put it into the universe and see what happens.
He jumped on that Peru song. That Peru song was fire.
He did, yeah.
Right?
That was
He's
a
been
good
doing
one.
a lot of collabs lately. He just did one with this guy Russ,
Yes.
who's a rapper. Yeah.
They seem to be people seem to be having a lot. I don't know if it's post-pandemic or whatever it is, but I swear to God, I've seen more collaborations between, actor like everybody's like kind of like, hey, I don't know when I'm going to see anybody again, so let's just fucking have fun.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and like I think people are just starting to take themselves a little bit less seriously and just actually doing things that they want to do.
Completely agree, man. I'm gonna. Do you want to do the 3 questions because we're getting close to the hour?
Yeah,
I feel like we could keep going. Let's do it. Because I always ask because I don't know, I try to keep it exactly how I'm just gonna put an explanation.
John just likes to explain this to people every single episode
because it does. Because you know why you gave me a complex. You made me feel like I think I'm. But you know what's crazy is that it's one of those things where I'm like, it's my show. I'm gonna end it in an hour. But then I feel really bad. Because I don't want people to go. Like, I can do this all fucking day.
I feel like I can talk to you guys for hours.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
John's
like that.
And you're
that
gonna
friend
come back.
that doesn't know if you want to stay or not at a party. And you're like, well, you don't gotta go, but you're not, I don't feel bad if you do.
That's when you turn on Gordon Lightfoot, Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. And if people are like, all right, we're getting the fuck out of here. We're not listening to 3 hours of Gordon Lightfoot. Who I would love to have as a guest, guys. Put it out there. No, I'm just kidding. No, I would, but also
Gordon Lightfoot's fire.
He's great. He's fucking awesome.
Well, before we do the 3 questions, I want to tell everybody, let them know what your tag is on TikTok and on YouTube, and anybody because there are a bunch of people. And if you guys have any questions for Alec, too, let us know because we have Tinzum is checking in from New Zealand. How are you?
Hi from New Zealand.
Right.
Yes. So if you go onto my TikTok and you type in "I'm Alec Chambers," that's how you find me.
Nice.
YouTube.com/AlecCmusic. You find all my stuff.
Beautiful.
Awesome. We'll put that in the comments too, so everybody can check it out.
Very cool. Thank you.
All right, boom. Seat of fire. 3 questions. Let's do this shit. First question's softball question. So, I'm going a little easy on you. If you can go back in time and talk to your younger self and give yourself a piece of advice that would help you today, what would it be?
This one might make me cry, bro.
That's
always John's goal.
Yeah.
I would tell him to relax and just take it easy because there's a lot ahead of you.
Nice.
Let me just think. I would tell him to not be so hard on himself, for sure.
Nice.
Totally.
It's tough. Like, especially in this industry, it's tough to not be so hard on yourself. But I think I would tell him to just slow down,
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely, man.
What the fuck, John?
I know. I'm sorry, dude. Get it out. Get out the anger now.
You're good.
Yeah. How about those Yankees?
That was a great answer.
I don't know.
And I think that's something that so many of us need when we're younger that we don't know, right?
Yeah.
If you had the older version of yourself that was able to say, it's going to be okay. It's going to work out.
And also my favorite part of that question is the idea of none of us specify when we would go back. So I just like the idea of an older you going back to a 4-year-old you, scaring the shit out of him, like shaking him, like, be yourself. And he's just like, what the fuck is going on? You know what I mean? Like, it's a nice image.
Like in Hot Tub Time Machine when he goes and sees his wife.
Yes. when he calls his wife on the phone and then the dad picks up and he's like, get off the fucking phone, Lou. This isn't about you. Hilarious.
I would just give him a hug. I mean, I don't know about all that, but yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Oh my God.
These are good questions.
Second question is, what had to end in your life, good or bad, that led you to where you are today? That's a tough one.
You know what's crazy? So right before I got the message from the people that were from TikTok saying, I want you to post, I was in a 4-year, very toxic relationship with a girl who, is a very sweet girl, just wasn't the right girl for me. And I would not have been able to do the things that I've done if I was still in that relationship because she was holding me down very much. And the day after we broke up was the day that I got the call about the Halsey thing, like the day, literally the day after. So that was like a sign that I had made the right decision and I needed to move past that. Yeah.
That's
crazy.
great.
It's the universe, right? Like that's how the universe works.
It's
like,
crazy.
Triggers
it's very
itself.
crazy.
Absolutely. And the last question is just a fun goofball question. So if this was a genuine dystopia, more than it kind of is now, we're all feeling a little bit. And you had your choice of like aliens, zombies, a comet headed toward Earth, climate change, whatever it is. It's everybody's last day, though, and everybody knows it. What's your epic death? How do you want to go out?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You know, I've thought about this a lot. Let me think. I think I'd want to. This is gonna sound completely bizarre, but I think I would just want to fall backwards from like a 50-story building and just fall backwards and just look at the sky as I'm falling back, and then as soon as I hit the, wow, this is very yeah, like just, you know, because it's just instant. Just rather just fall and just look at the sky and just think about all the things that I've done and things that I would wish I did or that I didn't do. But
nice.
There's something oddly peaceful about that.
I like that.
Probably my mental illness, but yeah, it's just.
No, man,
yeah,
I hear you. It's a backwards swan. What if the last thing you saw was Ed Sheeran's face in the clouds? If you're like right before you go, fucking Ed Sheeran. No. Amazing. Dude, it's been a blast getting to know you and to have you on here, man. You got to come back.
I really appreciate you guys both having me. Seriously, this was fun. I feel like I've known you guys for a very long time after this conversation. So thank you for having me,
man. And we're gonna hold you to this Family Feud thing.
Yeah, we're doing it.
We're gonna do this.
Oh my, I'm like about to go on it right now. You guys come from Jersey. We'll come sit on this couch from 1975 and we'll do it.
Absolutely.
I will bring the family. We got to get a couple other guys involved, like friends and stuff. But bring some of your friends. I'll bring the thing where we hit the buzzers.
Oh, that would be incredible.
Yeah, let's plan it. That'd be great. We'll come up to you.
Yeah, that'd be absolutely amazing.
I was in Connecticut Monday. Let's do this. Let's make it happen. I'm supposed to be back there next week.
I can't.
And
wait.
I've got a time machine, so we'll just go back to that Monday that Tom was already there.
Oh my god, this is gonna be a long relationship. I can already tell.
Absolutely,
I love it. I love it,
man.
Thanks, man.
Thank you guys so much.
Take care, man.
Peace. Man.
Peace.
Have a great one.
Dystopia tonight.